want to discuss a topic that a lot of my friends have requested me to do it. A lot of young people have reached out to me to discuss this topic because of current happenings yenye imefanyika nyumbani. So this is a non-political topic, and I don't know, for most of you that always read politics in what I do, this is a non-political topic. Maybe if you think this is politics, you might just as well switch your phone and do something else. Because this is serious. It is affecting young men, it is affecting a lot of young women, it is affecting families, and it is really hitting home. Yani inakuja kabisa karibu na nyumbani. And it is something that if we don't look on solutions or find solutions, we are ending up losing a lot of young, brilliant, promising men in this process. Now, depression and suicide inatupelekea vijana wengi sana. And most of you guys have seen it. Most of you guys have experienced it. Very close of you have seen it, and it is really becoming a reality. I really don't know how the society is coping up to these changes and challenges facing the world. So today, I just want to talk about it, and I want to open up a discussion where we can encourage each other and young people to discuss about the common challenges that are facing young men. And when we discuss these challenges, it is one way or another we can identify some of these problems and maybe address it, and then reduce these incidences and depression that it is leading to so many young men unaliving themselves. Mi najua societal pressure imekuwa too much. One of the greatest contributors of this depression and young people unaliving themselves ni depression. Now, depression has been brought by too much pressures that it is surrounding a lot of young generation of men and women who cannot handle pressure. Nimekuwa nikidiscuss a lot of these things with my friends, and pressure saa zingine imefika kiwango yenye most of the young men cannot even be able to deal with. And their easiest solution, or they think their easiest solution, ni kuji-unalive. Mi nataka nikuambie hivi, there is always a solution to most of these things. Personally, I was trained in the military. Na hapa United States, we lose 20 veterans a day. I want you to listen to that. We lose 20 veterans every day kwa hii maneno ya kuji-unalive. Okay? I cannot even talk about the civilian population. But when we were in the military, we were trained on ways to identify and care for people who have the potential to do that. So this is something that we want to open a discussion. What can really be done for these young men sometimes who find themselves in this critical situation, but they don't have the help? Unajua, pressure zenye zinafesi vijana siku hizi saa zingine, by the way, ni monumental. And one of them, and the leading one, is peer pressure. There is peer pressure all over, especially in this changing lifestyle. A lot of young men cannot cope up with pressure. Remember, these are young men. Majority of them, by the way, work on careers. Majority of them probably have small families or young families. But they cannot cope up with the pressure. And these pressures from the society is really pushing them to the limit or to the edge. Okay? Number two, mimi sijui kama vijana tutajiongelesha namna gani to reduce hii maneno ya alcoholism na betting. You know, betting, a lot of people wanachukuanga pesa, they take money and then they go bet out there. They realize they have lost a lot of money. They realize that they cannot meet family expectations. They realize that they cannot meet their personal expectations. And then they decide to do the unnecessary. How can we help young men to reduce alcoholism? I think that is a subject of discussion that we need to talk about it. The third thing is also pressures from women. Unajua, and this is not really hitting on the women. Nowadays, and forgive me for saying this, there is an unlimited supply of girlfriends that it is putting a lot of young men. And I'm talking this specifically about young men. Young men, kuna girlfriends to all over the place who are giving them pressure on a daily basis. Mara demands yai. And these young men are not old enough, or they are not grown enough to hold these societal pressures. How can we help these young men cope up with this? Where the pressure even from friends. Ukipata male marafiki wanakupush. Ati huyo jamani wa masherehe. Huyo jamani yako kwa masherehe. Huyo jamaa yako sawa kwa masherehe. Let me tell you, some of these drinking buddy groups actually cannot even be able to identify these serious scenarios na kusaidia vijana. Now, this is a conversation. This is not a monologue. I'm just opening up a discussion that what can we really do for these young men so that they don't do this? Niko na recommendation. I don't know whether even we have what we call hotlines or crisis lines, okay, that these young men can call for help. Mi nataka niombe counties, especially our medical institutions hapa nyumbani, specifically on the counties, please open crisis line, open emergency lines where these young people can call if they face a problem. Kwa mfano hapa, sisi tuko na acronym inaitwa ACE, ACE. ACE stands for ask the person if you identify that there could be a potential situation, care for the person, okay? Care for the person, and finally escort that person to get medical help. What are we doing in our local situation, okay, to make sure that we ask, escort, and care for such kind of individuals? What I just finally want to recommend to the people of Elgeyo Marakwet, and maybe if other counties can listen to this, you need to create what you call an hotline. And this hotline, it can be either through a text, a WhatsApp, or a call, where if young man is feeling something, they can always call that line, they can always text that line, or they can always have somebody to talk to on the other side, okay? If we don't act right now in these things, we might end up losing so many young generation of young men who are very productive, people who have jobs, people who have skills, people who can contribute to the society, and we will have nobody to blame apart from ourselves for not acting. I want you to share this message if it is important. I want you to share this message if you feel that it has touched where you probably have seen somebody suffer from this. This is a non-political topic where what can we do to prevent young men from falling into depression na then kujitoa kimaisha.